let's go ahead and get the next pulled up here. And I believe this was going to be Johnny's Jaded Logics. All right, so let's take a quick look at this, a little gander, if you will. So this is going to be Chaos Chosen against Elven Union. And Jaded asked to have this looked at because they're trying to get better. And if you aren't familiar with Jaded Logic, they're actually, and you're in Alaska, for example, you should go follow him, like take a look at it. Because I think he's in the Juneau or Fairbanks area. Fairbanks or North Pole maybe, and they're trying to start a Blood Bowl league out there. So I know it's a long shot, but if you're in that area, maybe join them. I would love to see another Blood Bowl community start. So let's get all of our tools pulled up here, make sure it's working. Hey, I said where, Moob. I said where. I could be really wrong about it, but I did say it. Are you moving? Yeah, right, baby nut. So this is a ladder match, to my understanding, because NetSmurf's not in our league. So first thing we're going to do anytime we start a match, right? We always want to take a look and see what are our matchups looking like. So in this case, we're looking at Chaos Chosen. We have 1 block Beastman. We have an armor down Beastman. That sucks. And we have a block Mighty Blow 1, 4 blockers. And then I'm not sure how many rerolls we have. It looks like 3. So pretty standard team, pretty new development. This Elven Union team has 1 loner and then no real development other than a dodge catcher. So we kind of know that what our game plan is going to be. Fire the AV bust. Exactly right, Moob. Because this is just worse than a loner, and we want to make sure that we have SPP going to players that matter. You don't like the second block over Sure Hands? I have no idea how to develop Chaos Chosen, so I'll take your word on it. I do think having a ball carrier that develops super early is really nice for Chaos Chosen. It helps you be a little cleaner with your rerolls, and with only 3 and 2 block pieces, you're probably going to need them for blocks, so you want to be aware of that. Perfect conditions, that's great. Everything's looking good there. And did we see who chose to receive? It looks like Jaded chose to receive, which is exactly what I'd recommend in this, because we're going to try to bang out some elves. That's our goal. AV Bus needs to go, and we're just going to be fishing for blocks, right? But more importantly, we want to make sure that we're fishing for blocks and removals on the things that matter. So, like, this thrower matters. It helps his drive. These catchers definitely matter. And then these 2 blitzers are really the ones that matter as well. So when we're blitzing, we want to make sure that we're targeting these players in particular, because those are really his win conditions. If this were 2025, this is just laddered, BB Nut. If this were 2025, then, the Linos would have Fumble Rooski, so they're really good, and that's probably the thing I'd be blitzing every turn. But other than that, that's what I'd be thinking, okay? So I want to maximize my hits on these things if I can. Yep, exactly right. Move's very, very correct about that. So we want to be sure that we're taking blocks that matter and not blocks just for the sake of blocks. So in this case, our setup should look like we have our 2 block pieces. Maybe not this one on the line, but we definitely want to be sure we're taking this block before we do our blitz. And then I would be looking at my blitz. This is pretty far back, 3, 4, 5. I wouldn't want to blitz that. But if I blitz this one or this one, I could push it into my line of scrimmage and get an additional hit. So I'd be looking at that if I could. And then everything else is just kind of like throw blocks, bang out elves, right? He set up not that aggressively, which is kind of nice. You also could look at blitzing one of these sidesteppers if you wanted, but I don't typically like blitzing sidesteppers because it very often can end with you stuck in. And what you really don't want to do is have your killer stuck in. So I would be looking at these linos because it would let me blitz and then step away. That would be the whole thought process I'd be having. And we talked about this in another replay review, but making sure that you had... let's look at the setup real quick. Making sure that you actually had... Don't target the loner if you can avoid it, right? So loners are actually nice to have on the enemy team because they add instability to the enemy team. which is great. I also don't love trying to catch the ball on your killer because you want him to be blitzing, right? And if you give him the ball, it means you have to protect him so he can't do his job of killing, or you're taking additional risk if you blitz things for attrition. So I probably would have looked at something else. It could have been this block piece here. For me, it's probably just whoever is closest to the level, and it's this guy right here. So I wouldn't have even tried to do the catch. I probably even would have moved him away and then planned to do my catch later. But knowing where the ball's position is going to be here, this is absolutely 100% my blitz now, right? That's what I'd be looking at. Set up things as well. I don't love having a hole in my line of scrimmage here. I see folks do it. I'm not 100% sure why people do it. Is there a reason? Does anybody know? I can't think of any reason you do this unless you're doing like full blitz defense. Symmetry, Scott. I like it. It's good to see you in here, man. If you have grab to foul, I guess that would be a reason too, yeah. I know if you're doing like a full blitz defense, typically you'll leave a hole here in the center, right? So that way you can spread out further. But other than that, I don't see a whole lot of reason to do it. So that being said, right, and we already talked about this, once you've decided who your blitzer is going to be, black orc setup, I could see that, yeah. Once you've decided who your blitzer is going to be, the other block piece that you want to maximize hits with goes on the line of scrimmage. Because, and you want to think about that, they're the very next block that I take, or they're my first block that I take, because they're the safest actions that I can do. And you need information at the start of the game to really decide, okay, what am I going to do? Where am I going to shift from there? So a setup that I would have liked better would have been, for example, maybe putting your block piece here, so he just goes there, so that's him. And then you want to have one on the side over here or over here, like you do, and then you just start blocking. Right. And even if you just putting them here would be totally fine, because then what you can do is, if you know the ball's over this direction, right, this side, then block that way, right? Push them away from the ball so that way he has less pieces available to actually respond with. I like this. We're doing some safe moves. Before you throw any blocks, please move this behind the line of scrimmage. Okay. Move the ball. Make it safe before you throw blocks, right? And then that's pretty nice, getting that removal. And the other thing I was going to say, throw your blocks in the order of safety, right? So part of the reason why I said I would like it if your block piece was here is because now you have just a block you can do. I mean, it's the least likely block to fail. So all these moves over here could have happened. Then your ball could have came over here, and now you're just throwing this block over there, right? Something of that sort. Wherein you know, okay, that's going to be fairly safe. I've now freed up this piece, so I can rotate him around. Now my cage is pretty well set. The ball's fairly safe. I can continue to throw blocks. And the reason you do that is because if you fail one of these, and you've actually built it in to be safe, you can just choose to accept the failure. You don't actually have to re-roll it. But where it is right now, if you fail a block, you have to re-roll. You don't have a choice. And the reason being, the ball is completely exposed. So bring it in, tuck it in, right? That's part of the way that you manage your rerolls and create ball safety. It kind of cascades for you. Blitz should have been with your block piece. Unless you're trying to get SPP on that. But if you're trying to get SPP on the Chaos Chosen blocker, which is totally fine, it's a valid thing to do, then you just want to be sure that the rest of your setup is in a way that actually lets you do it safely. So for example, like this piece could have already been over here. The ball could already be in its cage, right? Yeah, let's see, at this point, we probably could have, but we just never moved the ball. So again, ball just needed to be here. Now we're probably going to give 2 dice on the ball for this, which isn't great. We just didn't have to do this. We could have just not done it. Now his recovery is not amazing, and he doesn't get you down, so that's great. But if he did get you knocked down, which by the way is the most likely result that comes out of that, because it's a 50% chance twice, you'd be in a world of hurt. As it is now. Oh, that sucks. Just going back for a second here. This happens because we followed into that. This is just a free hit for him. We didn't have to give him that block. You absolutely could have just not based here. So just something to think about, right? Doesn't really add anything when you base this, other than he can just then move 2 pieces over and gets a chance to kill a player. Here, how about this one?
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
I like that, actually, Gondra. I'll get a he's dead Jim one. Yeah, it's super easy to make. It's a mistake to make, Scott. Mr. Under the Glow. I shouldn't use your real. Do you care if I use your real name? If you care, then I won't do it. But if you don't care, that's how I know you. That's how I love you. Came to love you. You were known. Okay. You just have to think before you click the follow button. And this is most of Blood Bowl. I have to think before I do something. What happens if I do this, right? So if you follow and you know you're going into this, he's going to move 2 pieces over and he's going to get to hit you for free. Yep. What does that get you? And more importantly, like, what does this movement here get you? And if the answer is I'm not sure, then just don't follow. Just stay. Like, it's good enough to control space, right? That's really what pieces are designed to do. Basing is something we do because we want to control other pieces or limit options or increase risk profile, right? But typically you want to be screening whenever you can. Yep, 100%. That's 100% it. I want you to roll this dice, right? So it should happen on turns wherein I want them to roll dice. Like, that's it. So, like, when you're attacking the ball, when they need to move the ball forward, when they need to make a cage on the next turn, those kind of things. Yep. Okay, I just want to say here, this is absolutely 100% the correct thing to do, but I'm up 2 pieces. Are you all thinking what I'm thinking? Does anybody know what I'm looking at? Why I'm pausing here? I'm curious. BB, you probably know. I think if anyone's seen it, it's probably you. Ding, 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 get a surf. It's a good one, too. This is his thrower. I like it. I'm so far up. I have so many pieces here. I think I'm going for it. And it's not even hard to get. It's like, blitz happens here. I can take a POW, even. It doesn't matter. Like, that's all I need. Blitz goes there. And then piece goes here. Piece goes here. Block. Box is made because he's here now. And then he gets pushed off. No, you might. But I don't think you do. Who's going to countersurf you at this point? Oh, that sucks. I played against an 80-game Vamp team earlier, Scott. That was pretty cool. Can you countersurf? What would it look like? Because I'm thinking you have a piece here, you have a piece here, right? Or sorry, you have one here, you have one here, one here. If he goes here, I guess you could countersurf that one. But I'm pretty sure you could put a piece over here at the end. I have enough players. I think you could create a screen here at the end. And make it pretty much impossible because he has got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you can just screen it off. It's fine. And then he can come over here and build a cage there. He can come over and go there. He can stand up. I think this is totally fine. I mean, if he wants to throw the 4-up, 5-up dodge in to get a 2D up or 1D hit on the piece to counter serve, you should let him do that. I think it'd be okay. I always counter serve, yeah. This is by far the safer play, by the way. And it is, I think, technically the correct thing to do here. It's just one of those things you can do when you want to win more, right? Like, you're already in a winning position, so you can afford a little extra risk on your turn to create more risk. Probably you could have just moved these in. I see what you did there and why you did it, though. This is fine. I don't love this, because this is just, what, a 4+ to hit the ball for 1D? But it's probably all right. He's giving you a ton of bases, or hits, so... Fucker. Sorry, I shouldn't... I didn't say that word. Didn't even have to be a 1D, or a 4+ in. He could have just hit you. Same thing here, right? So now we need to look at the turn that we're on. We are on turn 3. We know that. So we need to make sure that we are understanding what our objectives are going to be for this turn. We don't have to do a lot. We just have to keep the ball safe. So that's what we're going to try to do, right? We don't need to move forward. In fact, if we move forward here, we could be exposing ourselves to more risk. So just build a cage. All right, get pieces in, put the ball in the cage, get safe, and then throw some blocks. That's what I'd be looking at. I like blitzing here because we are blitzing for position this turn, not necessarily attrition. And I would like to do it with this guy here. That would be kind of my thought. Just easy 2D, hit on the ball, no problem. Lets me get what I need. Yep. Get your cage in. Double skulls do happen. Snakes occur. So, okay, let's talk about that move right there. All right. Before we move the ball forward, you always want to be sure you have pieces to support, right? Because once you move, you have to keep in mind that the opposition team is going to get a chance to respond to you. So what happens next, right? It's just a 2+ for him to come over here and dodge and hit that. This one's completely free. So you want to be sure you're tagging these out. And next he's going to be in front of you. So I really, really like not moving forward here. I like just holding here and just continuing to develop your position. Just bang, right? That's what Chaos Chosen is good at. They're good at banging, so let them do it. And just keep hitting things, right? Keep the ball safe and just keep hitting things. Especially because you're down right now. He's technically up pieces. This KO is more likely to come back right now than it isn't. This is good. I mean, you're getting hits. I like that. These are the banger elves. Careful stepping this piece in, right? Because you just gave up a free hit. That's all you did by moving that piece in. It's a free 2 dice block for him. So again, ask yourself, why am I giving up a 2 dice block? What am I actually getting out of it? He's putting sidestep on the ball. Oh, okay, yep. Yep. Easy hit on the ball carrier. Well, and this happens because we move the ball forward rather than actually like just holding the line of scrimmage, right? So again, and this happens it happens to a lot of folks. So this is nothing to feel bad about, but when we move the ball forward is like the most critical decision we make on our offensive drive, because we are increasing the amount of risk that we can take by doing that, right? So if I move forward, it means that I have to be able to screen. Yeah. the diagonal cover was bad too. I have to screen and I have to have all the pieces that I need to do it. So if we did want to move the forward, and Meeby's already spotting this and talking about it, right? I do think you had the pieces to do so. You just wanted to be sure you had it covered, right? So just kind of a rule of thumb, be sure you have planned where pieces are going before you move the ball forward. It's like you should be doing it every turn, every step of the way. That's the ideal. But if you're not going to do that, then just at least be sure you know on the turns where you're moving the ball forward who's going to, right? So count your ball's progress. We know we can go 6 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This is as far forward as I can get, unless I blitz this piece or this piece, right? So those are like the 2 obvious blitz targets that I have. Now, assuming that I got my ball forward, who actually covers that? So I then want to take the next thing and look at the 4 pieces, because I know that's what I really need to build a full cage. I need at least 4 pieces. So where is it going? Who are those people? Well, I know this one's here, and I know this one's here, and I know this one's here, and that one's there. So I'm compromising on the safety of my cage by moving forward this turn. Do I need to move forward? It's turn 3. Nope. Okay, so then that lets me make my decision just right there, right? I don't need to move forward. I don't have the pieces to move forward. And if I move forward, I'm increasing my risk. Just don't do it. If you are going to do this, then you really need to throw this rush, right? 4, 5, 6. And then the rush right there would have let you cover the diagonal. This square right there. So that way you don't have to worry about it as much anyway. I would have actually liked a second rush there as well. This is just much, much safer because now he can't just cut through. And when you're playing against elves in particular, spotting what we call gate dodges are. Yeah, that's a good idea. Thanks, Moob. All right, so a gate dodge is going to be any time... how do I change the tackle zones? There we go. A gate dodge is going to be any time that you leave kind of like a corner cut on, right? So this right here is a gate dodge. There's nothing on the opposite side here, meaning it is just a 2+. So if you are going to do this, putting a piece here at least makes this a 3. That's better, but getting in here to cover that diagonal is even stronger. That's why I think rolling the double rush is better. I hate the idea of rolling 2 rushes there because you're probably using a reroll, or there's a good chance you will. But if you've got to do it, you've got to do it at times. All right, so we know how this turn ends. He ends up with the ball. So bad things have happened. No big deal. We have a pretty easy 2 dice on the ball. We just need to make sure we plan for it. Who's going to pick up the ball? How do we make this occur? And order it out from there. So first things first, what happens if we don't knock the ball down? Right? He's going to try to move the ball forward and build a cage. So we want to limit his options. This is one of the turns where basing is probably a good thing, right? So I would immediately be thinking, okay, how do I do that? Well, this guy's big and strong and he moves 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That helps me cover that angle. If I could get a piece here, that's even stronger, right? This guy's free. So maybe I put him here. Now I'm standing in front of him at least. And I've got 4 players. This one, this one, this one, and this one. And one more wherein I can start to think about building a cage. So, yeah, that's a good point, Cynic. If you failed that second rush, you actually could have chosen to eat it on the last turn. But let's focus on this turn for a second. So we want to be sure we're planning through that. Now, I kind of like the idea of throwing this block. You have an instant 2 dice. It also puts a failure state in on the ball. So that way it's more difficult for him. And it creates an area where we might be able to actually make a cage at the end. So I would throw this block first. If I get the PAL, that's phenomenal. Because now I'd be looking at a sideline cage afterward, hopefully, if we knock him down. Next, probably comes the blitz. So this is 1. This is 2. And the reason I'm doing the blitz at this stage in the turn is because I want to see what happens. right? If I don't know what happens, then I can't actually respond to it. I know I don't want him going this way, so I want to cover this. And I know when having these players over here means I can effectively at least create kind of a sideline cage or a safe-ish ball. So that's what I'm going to look at, right? This is number 2 for me. We don't know what happens, but we want to see where it goes. We want to see where he chooses to sidestep. And then this will allow us to respond with this player afterward. So if this player's already knocked down, we could even respond with this player. We can move it wherever we want. You might go for the 3D here, maybe. I don't like it because I think you'd have to commit too many players. And then how do you make the ball safe after that? I mean, the ball is safe because like we have things around it, but I don't think we could get a nice formation out of it. So if I had more players over here, I think definitely. But maybe. I mean, you've even got, like, we talked about moving these guys already, but, like, and this guy should actually be the first thing you do, so he just stands. I wouldn't even be throwing a dodge. I would just let him eat that dice. All right, so we do that. We find out what occurs. Yeah, that is exactly what I'm thinking, too. I think 2D's better here. If we've thrown this block, we know we don't have to throw a dodge after we do this. That's awesome. More than likely, 75% chance of knocking this player down because we have blocks. So that's extra awesome. We're pretty likely to knock this player down 75, 83-ish with a reroll. So that's pretty good. So yeah, we throw that. That's our second thing we do. And then we have to play off of that. Chance you knock the ball out of bounds. Yeah, that's exactly right, Gondra. So to Gondra's point, we throw this as the second thing we do after we've moved all of our safe moves, right? Because now we can respond and see if the ball went out of bounds. It could be over here, right? Throw in square. Is this 1 in 2020 or is this 0? Do y'all remember? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. But the ball could be over here. It could be over here. It could also be down like in this direction. So yeah, I fucking hate that that's 2020. I need to stop swearing. This is going on YouTube. Love it. We're doing the safe moves first. Beautiful. I think I like having this guy down here just because it helps prevent the 2+, and I like saving this one. We do this block first like we talked about. That's phenomenal. We don't get the POW. That's unfortunate. I think I like pushing him here so that way this player is free afterward. We do get the POW here, so that's really good. He does sidestep to the side. And now we could actually try the pickup, so this is great. If we had pushed him here, we have a free player that we can go stand over here. And then he could have been over here. This is okay, though. This isn't terrible. Just means you had to throw an extra block to get this. So maybe your way's even better in some ways. Yeah. It was a blitzer, so he had block there, maybe. BB Nut said that somebody said or left a comment on his YouTube saying that he swears too much, so he can't watch it with his kids, and that's in my head now. Okay, so love this. We already know that's happening, so we're just going to play after that. We know that we need to get the ball safe. It's turn 5. This might surprise you, but I actually don't like moving the ball north this turn. I actually like just coming back to the center. I think it's perfectly fine to look like right here and just hold the ball in the center. It gives you more chances. It gives you more time to stall. You're so far ahead, you want to develop more your position more. So, but to Cynic's point, right? Was that a rush? That wasn't a rush here, was it? I don't see anything. It looks like it was just 6. Are you talking about the Elven Union player? Anyway, the same thing's true here. We can just cut back to the center. We can hold this space, and now we can ask him to come back into us. Yeah, see? That's exactly it, Cynic. I'm trying to be much better about this. I'm a little cavalier with swearing, and I should just be better. Anyway, so we want to come back to the center and hold this space. If we can hold this space, great. I like holding over here because then my blitz angle could be like this. It pushes them over here. It gives me another follow-up block if I want it. These players can come over here. And you kind of get the idea, right? And I know this guy can come up this way. So just way better. If we'd done that blitz first, now he could be part of our cage. He could be like here, and we would know he's here. And we're just controlling a lot more pitch space. Did he? Okay, I missed it. Totally fine. I actually don't hate blitzing with Mighty Blow here. And actually, it got you something. This is okay too. Just keep in mind, when you commit to the side like this, you're limiting your options. We always, and I think it was K2 that said this in the last stream, we want to look at plays that expand our options and not necessarily ones that limit our options. And so when we come back to the center, we're expanding the possibilities. We could go out this direction if we wanted to. We could continue on that path if we wanted. All kinds of things we could do. But we're kind of limiting ourselves by coming over here. Also, I think you left a 1D on the ball by doing this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, rush. Yeah, it's 2+2+, but it's a 1D on the ball. So we didn't even have to give this up. If he had been 1 forward there, that would have been good. So just a small thing to think about. Mark your threats, click them, and count their spaces to get to you. I knew it was coming. Yep. Yeah, that's a great way to think of it too, Moob. Same thing we've already talked about here. This is kind of a cleanup turn, is the way I look at it. Love the blitz. I think this is good. Get you this block. Knowing that I was going to blitz here and then block like this, maybe just step it in. Right? Don't leave anything on the table if you can avoid it. There's no reason to. Or come over here just in case this fails, right? If this block fails, like it's a double skulls, they can actually get around and tag your ball again. Make sure you take a look at the directions you're pushing things. I know what's in your head is, I want to make this guy roll more dice, but you actually put him in range to provide an assist to the ball on the ball carrier here. And then we just give him kind of a 2 dice block as a result too, right? Same thing. It's small stuff at this point. Just clean up turns. This should be your blitz. Yep. To the right is better. Yep. Cynic's 100% right. And for the reasons we just talked about. Make your ball safer, right? Before you do this blitz, just make sure you make your ball safer. Bring a guy over the top. Maybe bring one in here now. It's just safer. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Rush. You leave 1D on the ball by doing that. By not doing it. Yeah, are they the blue ones, right? Yeah. They're really nice dice. See, we're leaving 1D on the ball into a surf if he gets the POW. But he doesn't. Oh, that's his dodge piece, too. That's tragic. Into death. That's a dead catcher. Hey, Mudaro, how are you, man? Let's bang it in. No reroll, so I really like that choice. Could have maybe looked for a 3 dice block somewhere if you wanted. You only need 3 assists to get it with your your Beastman. They only happen 1 out of 216 times. Turn 8. Just make a decision. Do you want to play for the timeout? To stop it, or do you just not care? Oh, he's down so many players. I think I just not care. Like, his thrower's out. I would just park it in the back and say, hey, dude, you got no rerolls? If you can score, you can do it. Yep. Maybe he's correct. Ball safety is going to be like the biggest thing. And I mentioned it already, but click your threats, right? You know, the Blood Bowl 3 UI is really nice in some ways because it shows you how far they can go. Like, you can just look. And so I know if my ball is standing here, he just can't get me. There's nothing he can do. He can't even base me. So I don't have to roll dice on my next turn. I can just park it right here. Perfectly fine. This is fine. This is just a cleanup turn. All right, let's take a look at the second half. Second half, he's down quite a few players, but he did get his thrower back, so we need to be respectful of that. He could very easily toss it off to a catcher. He does only have one, or to one of the blitzers. So when we think about how we defend against this guy, hitting him is really the way that we do it. Basing him is not good enough because he has Nerves of Steel. The two blitzers don't have Nerves of Steel, so we can base them and we can control them that way. However, they have sidestep, so when we hit them, we need to be planning for that. And these are just trash. Extra trash in 2025 because they have Fumblerooski. Yeah, it's very easy to forget how fast an 8 move actually is. It's part of what makes the Elven Uni team so good, right? Is like strength 3, movement 8 pieces really just go far. What are we hitting with? It should be here. Oh, we didn't blitz? Hold up. Hold up. Did we just move too many players? Three? It's 2? That's 4 right there. That's what happened. Okay. Just make sure you count. No worries, man. No worries. It's all going to go on YouTube for you, so you can watch it there. The bot will also be available, so don't even sweat it. Did he snake that? Oh, damn. I've done it before, too, though, where I just don't, like, even look. Just like, I'm going to move everything. I actually like the reroll here. Even though I think he likely could have accepted it, I really like the reroll because you can create even more pressure on the ball and just make his life hell. I'd actually be probably planning to foul this too. Toxic? Maybe. But stomping on a positional, you're so far up, it's like, why not do it? I know, me too, Cynic. You should become one, Jaded. I'm going to let you on a secret. It helps you win games. It's perfectly fine, and if people get upset about it, you can direct them to GW like I do. I told that to a guy one time. He got mad at me because I stomped on his players. And I told him, I was like, bro, why don't you just go have that conversation with GW? Like, I don't know what to tell you. Put him here. You're leaving a 2+ out by putting him here. If he just goes right here, it's a 3+, 2+ out. It's 1 extra die roll and it's harder. Oh my god. Yeah, this is over. I think I'd just be laying down if I were him. You're not coming back from this. I'd make this 3 dice now. This seems reasonable. If I were you, this is the time you pick up on a blocker. Like, Maybe even blitz from this side. That way you get a follow-up hit. Yeah, love it. And I'll be honest with you, I would not be stalling at this point. I would just be leaning in. I do think at this point, though, it's totally okay to not foul, right? This is when we're starting to get into, like... Jaded, there's lots of good stuff here. There's lots of good stuff. Like, you're doing some safe moves first, which I love to see. There's some small things I might recommend changing. The big thing is, like, make sure you're plotting out the threats to your ball carrier, right? And we talked about this already, but just click them. It tells you how far they can go. During your drive, you left 1D on the ball about 3 different times when you didn't need to. Nothing bad happened to you, but it very well could have. So you want to be sure you're thinking about that stuff too. And just keep the fouling piece. Like I said, there is a point where I do feel like it starts to become kind of a bad sportsman kind of play, right? Like I'm not here to ruin anybody's fun necessarily. But when like that turn right there where you can really increase your winning, you can win more. That's when I would do it. After that turn, probably never again. That would have been a catch in 2025 because there's no longer a minus. Yep, block with block pieces first. I like that. The setups were a little bit... They could use some work. We talked about that too. It'll all be in the VOD. So check that out. And then... Trying to think of what else. It's all in there. You'll have to watch it. Overall, I think you're playing really well, though. This is your blitz on your next turn. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. This should be your blitz. That's great. Yeah, he's a fun guy to play. So this, by the way, is the turn where I actually like basing. Just come in and stand on this. Put one there. Put one there. And just go stand on things. And then, I don't know, blitz this guy. See what happens. Can you get it with this? 1 through 4, 5, 6. No, just do it with him. If you did it actually this way, 3, 4, 5, and 6, you get a follow-up hit, and that's pretty cool. And then I'd stomp on it if it doesn't hit the ground. Catches off the kick are no longer a minus, Cynic. Now we get him. This is probably too deep, and you're off the center line. So for move 6 in particular, hey Sasha, it's good to see you in here. For move 6 in particular, like the center line here is really important because it means you can get just about anywhere. Like this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, so we can get there. If you move off of it, and there's sometimes good reasons to do it, just know that you're kind of biasing yourself to one side, especially at move 6. Move 7 and 8, they get away with this, but I think Blood Bowl breaks can sometimes be very good for people. The reason I like stomping on this, by the way, is because a 3-2 is pretty likely to happen. So if you just stomp on it, it can't happen. I don't see how he doesn't leave 2 dice on the ball here. Guess he could just roll the 3-2. This is your blitz now. And then you're just going to come in 3, 4, 5, and 6. Tag. Tag. He's tagged, so that's good. He's going to come around and just swing there. He comes over there and swings there. This is a block. Actually, this is the block. And then he comes around and swings there. Ideally, this is knocked down, so you have 2 players just kind of like holding. And then that's, I mean, he's just kind of like having to throw dice. You might be able to, you might get him, but he might get away. But probably not. I think I liked... Yeah, I definitely like you being in front of him here. Even like this square is really good because that's kind of like this dodge out square. Right now, this is just a 4+2+. No rerolls, but... I think it's a good idea, Sasha. You know, I heard it said from somebody. I don't know who coined it, but like the way that they learned Blood Bowl, this square is better. Just something to think about, Jaded. And the reason being, where does he dodge to? That's not horrible. He's got like either uphill you, or he's got to like dodge through tackle zones. So. Yeah, now it's a 3+2+. Does he do the handoff? Didn't do the handoff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hit. I like the blitz. I think it would be a good idea. I think you could just do it with this guy though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, go. Yeah. I feel the same way, maybe. I do foul. Probably more than a lot of folks, but... Is that what he's thinking? That could have been it, yeah. That's a beautiful scatter for you. I probably would have picked up on my blocker right there. You got 3 turns, so picking up here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it's more chaos blocker SPP, which is just great. Fouling every turn is certainly an option. Yep, this is just a cleanup turn. Oh, he got the ball from you. Okay, hold up. Wait a minute. Oh, he's got block. Yeah, okay. Same thing, right? Like we've talked about, just make sure you mark out your threats. A 3-2 is really not that unlikely for elves to hit, so you have to plan for those. It is still possible for you to score with a chaos blocker, so I would be looking for it. Yep, stands up. Blitz there. Yep. Beautiful. Push him here. Wouldn't you? Don't throw those rushes. Oh, that's a bummer. That's an extra bummer. Tough. Probably we should have done some other things first. You had a bunch of things you could do over here, but I totally get it. All right, so at this point, he's our only scoring threat. So, well, you have 2, but just a handoff play. That's amazing, maybe. I don't think I want to be known as that guy, though. You know what I mean? Like, I had one tabletop season where I threw 73 fouls in 11 games. So that was fun. Oh, maybe it was more than 11. Maybe 13 games. I was playing Black Orcs that season, though, so... I'm definitely not afraid to throw a foul, but... Overall, I mean, the things I would highlight would be this, right? So, one, we talked about ball safety. Good for him, man. Some people love that kind of stuff. Some people just get their lit niche. All right. So things I would talk about. I'm gonna let the ad break end. That's what we're gonna do, and then we're gonna go through this. Nah, never mind. I'll be on the VOD. All right. So things I would say: ball safety. Okay, you got to make sure that you are actually marking out your threats. And really easy to do is just click the things that you would hit them with and then see how far they can go, right? Oftentimes we can put a player in their way and make sure that they can't actually touch us. And if they can't touch us, then they can't hit us and the ball is safe, right? So that's one way to keep the ball safe. The other way is make sure you plot out your cage. And this is really simple. Just click your ball, count the squares that he can go to, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, for example. And then everybody just comes and stands around who does, like people go wherever they need to, right? And then we have like a potential screen. So he would go there and you get the idea, right? So we want to be sure that we're doing that kind of stuff. Those are really the two big things. And then finally, make sure you're prioritizing your pieces with block as actually taking hits. There were a couple times, and during your setup, we talked about this, so go back and watch that VOD for that. But during your setup, you didn't take your block hits, right? And there are reasons why we might do that. For example, like maybe I'm trying to level a Chaos Chosen blocker up, so I want to make sure I'm prioritizing that hit. But that should be a choice you're making and not something we're just not doing, right? So order your blocks in order of importance. Your block ones are the safest, so obviously they're going to be some of your most important. And then plan your blitz every turn. Like this is really, really important. In the first half, especially, you carried on this guy and ended up getting turned over. But that meant there were about 5 turns where you just didn't get a chance to hit with your Mighty Blow piece. And you want to hit every single turn with your Mighty Blow piece. That's why you build a killer on Chaos Chosen. It's why you build a killer on Nurgle, on Khorne, whatever it might be, is because these guys remove players. And if you remove players, the rest of your game is easier, as you've witnessed by killing 5 elves, right? But that should be your objective every single game. If I hit something, it is far, far more likely to die. And let me just show you like an example here on the chart. Like if we ignore the infant chiropractor stuff, odds of rolling a 2d6, I think it's Dark Fortress, something like that. Yeah, here we go. So this is a probability chart that you can look at that actually shows you how likely something is to happen depending upon what you're rolling. A Mighty Blow adjusts the probability of something significantly, right? So if I have to roll an 8+, it's a 41%. But a 7+ is 58%, which means as soon as I put Mighty Blow on an 8+ piece, it's more likely to happen than it is to not, right? Same thing is true, like a 10 moving down to a 9 means it's like a 1 in 4 chance for it to occur versus a 1 in 6. And a 1 in 4 happens way more often. You can kind of see like the chart goes up. There are diminishing returns at some point, right? Like this is the likelihood that you break on a halfling, but being able to remove things is really, really important. So hit things, hit it with Mighty Blow, prioritize it, do it every single turn. That is how you win with teams like Chaos Chosen and Khorne and that kind of stuff. Then the ball safety and the caging and all that comes into play too. Cool. Did anybody feel like I missed something? Anybody have something they wanted to add? Yep. Secure the ball is the most important thing. I feel like this was a good one. Really appreciate you letting us go through this one. What time is it? It's about 8:30. I think we got time for one more ladder match or arena match. Y'all down for that? All down for that?